start from the climax. Night hangs over the floodplain like a blanket of ink. The wind is still. The grass does not move, and the lions do not roar. A herd of antelope grazes in the moonlight, unaware that shadows are slowly closing in. One shadow becomes two. Two become five. Golden eyes glow, but there is no sound, no growl, no warning, only silence. Most lion prides roar loudly to mark territory. But this pride is different. They live by a rule written in scars and memory. Silence means survival. Tonight, they hunt without a voice. The lead lioness freezes, every muscle tight. She's only a few steps away. A single sound would ruin everything. Around her, the pride spreads out like whispers in the dark. Cubs watch from the tall grass, learning their pride's greatest secret: how to be a lion without a roar. This is the moment everything has been building toward. A pride that refuses to roar, standing on the edge between hunger and hope. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy animal stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. The lioness moves. The herd explodes. The night stays silent. And what happens next will change the fate of this pride, the rule of silence. To understand how this pride became Africa's quietest lions, we must go back to the beginning. The story starts months earlier, at sunrise in the Okavango wetlands of Botswana, a maze of islands, reed beds, and shining water channels. It is one of the most life-filled places on Earth, and one of the most competitive. Here, lions are not only hunters. They are also survivors of rivals, floods, drought, and change. The pride's leader is not a roaring male, but an older lioness named Sable. Her face carries pale lines, not fresh wounds, but history. She learned silence the hard way. Once, her pride roared like any other. Their voices rolled across the delta at night like thunder. But loud roars bring attention. Rival male coalitions, larger lion prides, and sometimes even curious humans. One night, two massive outsider males answered those roars. They arrived without mercy. No graphic details. Only this truth: roars can invite danger. Since then, Sable has led differently. She guides with looks, tail flicks, and soft grunts so quiet only lions can hear. The pride hunts like shadows. They move mostly at night and rest deep in reeds by day. To the human ear, this pride almost doesn't exist. But remaining unseen comes with a cost. They must give up the very sound lions are famous for. And while silence keeps them safe from rivals, it also makes hunting harder, defending cubs harder, and finding each other risky in the thick wetlands. The cubs don't yet understand why they must be so quiet. They only feel the tension in every step. Today, that tension grows. Buffalo herds arrive in the same territory. So do spotted hyenas, loud, powerful scavengers. And somewhere beyond the trees, deep booming roars shake the ground. A new coalition of males is moving in. And they're anything but quiet. The pride lowers their heads. They must choose: stay silent and invisible, or roar back and risk everything. The screen fades on the sound of distant thunder, not from the sky, but from other lions that a lesson learned in water and fire. We return to the moment the roars echoed over the swamp. The cubs press close to their mothers. Sable watches the horizon. She knows those voices. They belong to the Storm Brothers, two large black-maned males claiming territory mile by mile. If they find the pride, they will try to take over. For a pride with young cubs, this is the most dangerous threat of all. Again, Sable chooses silence. She leads the pride into water. Tiny paws splash. Long whiskers brush reeds. The cubs' hearts race, but the lionesses move carefully, using water to hide their scent and soften footsteps. Hippos grunt somewhere in the distance. A fish-eagle cries overhead. The pride reaches a small island covered in papyrus and fig trees, an island few animals ever step on. Here, the quiet rule keeps them alive. Days pass in calm. The Storm Brothers roar and move on, believing no lions are near. Silence wins this time. But silence has another price. The island has little food. The cubs grow thinner. Their mothers watch with worried eyes. Hunting in deep water is dangerous and draining. Prey keeps to higher ground. Finally, Sable makes a decision. They must leave the safe island. They must hunt again. At dusk, they step back into the water, one by one, bodies reflected in the orange glow. Frogs leap around them. The air buzzes with insects and heat. Across the plain, a herd of red lechwe antelope grazes. The wind turns in the lion's favor. Tonight, silence will be their greatest weapon. But something else is moving in the same grass. Hyenas. Dozens of them. They haven't seen the lions yet, but they will. Hyenas are loud, fearless, and always listening for the sound of a hunt. The pride crouches. The cubs wait. The island behind them. The open plain ahead. And soon, something or someone will break the silence first. No roar, no warning. We are back where we began, in the dark, in the hunt, in the moment of no return. The pride spreads out with perfect control. Each lioness knows her role. This is what lion mothers teach from the first weeks of life. Patience, teamwork, trust. Normally, lions use low growls and roars to coordinate. Not this pride. A glance replaces a roar. A slow head tilt replaces a command. Their paws glide over wet earth with almost magical quiet. The lechwe lift their heads, ears twisting, sensing something but hearing nothing. The lead lioness breaks from cover. The herd bursts like a wave. Still no roar. Still no warning. The lionesses curve around the fleeing antelope with breathtaking speed, pushing one young lechwe toward a narrow strip of mud where it might slip. At that exact moment, from the darkness behind, a chorus of hyena laughter erupts. The hyenas have arrived. The lions seize their chance. In seconds, the chase hits its peak. Water splashes. Hooves pound. The pride's teamwork becomes art. They do not roar in victory. They do not announce their success. They simply act, fast, precise, controlled. The cubs wait, hidden. The hyenas circle, calling louder, numbers growing. The pride must decide, defend silently, or abandon the hard-won meal. We do not linger on violence. Only the tension. Eyes shining in moonlight. Teeth flashing and vanishing. Water rippling. And around it all, the night staying strangely, beautifully quiet. The hyenas edge closer. Sable steps forward. Her lips part. Is she about to break her own rule? Will the quiet pride finally roar? The screen holds on her open mouth. And we cut to black, the roar that never came. We return to the frozen moment. Moonlight on wet whiskers. Hyenas circling like moving shadows. Sable's mouth open, but no sound leaving it. For a heartbeat, the whole swamp seems to wait. Then Sable closes her jaws. She does not roar. Instead, she steps forward slowly, shoulders raised, tail stiff. The silent lioness becoming larger, bolder, more certain with every step. The other lionesses copy her. Together, they form a golden wall between the hyenas and the precious meal the cubs need. Hyenas are brave, but they are not fools. They look for fear, confusion, weakness. What they see is calm, controlled silence. A few more hyenas arrive, laughing in the dark, trying to break that calm. They expect noise in return. They expect roaring threats. But the lions give them nothing. Only steady eyes. Only still bodies. Only silence. The hyenas test the line, quick dashes in and out, splashing water and snapping jaws. No graphic detail, only motion and tension. The lionesses swing their heavy paws, not wildly, but with firm warning. The cubs huddle behind reeds, eyes wide, learning the lesson written into their pride's history. Sometimes the loudest power is quiet. After long minutes that feel like hours, the hyenas drift back the way they came, complaining to one another, their laughter fading into the night. The hunt is saved. The cubs eat. The pride breathes again. A calm after the storm. Dawn washes the delta in soft gold. Birds lift into the cool air. Mist curls around the reeds like pale smoke. The cubs tumble, bellies full and faces sleepy. For the first time in days, the mothers relax, grooming each other with long, slow licks. No one speaks in words, of course, but the mood is clear. They made it through the night. They kept their rule. They stayed silent and survived. Yet beneath the peace lies something uneasy. Across the plain, far away but clear, the storm brothers roar again. Their voices slide through the morning like rolling thunder over water. The cubs look up. Sable listens. The sound is not closer, but it is not fading either. The wetlands are changing with the season. Water is dropping. Islands are shrinking. Pathways between territories are opening. The quiet pride's hidden world is becoming easier to cross. Silence may not be enough much longer. That afternoon, vultures circle lazily overhead. Not for the lions, for something else far away. But they draw attention. Attention brings lions. Lions bring challenges. Sable stands, her reflection trembling in the shallow water. She knows the pride cannot hide forever. They will soon have to face the world beyond the reeds. Other lions, wandering males, and perhaps even the storm brothers themselves. The cubs press against her legs, trusting her completely. She nuzzles them once. Then she leads the pride away from the island, toward open land glittering with heat and risk, where voices travel farther, and silence is harder to keep. Ahead lies dry ground, rival tracks in the dust, and the faint smell of unfamiliar lions on the wind. The quiet pride walks straight toward it, and waiting just beyond the next line of trees is the last creature Sable ever wanted to meet again. The ghosts of old roars. We pick up exactly where we left off. The pride steps out of the trees. Dust curls in the heat, and standing on the open plain ahead is a massive, dark-maned lion, one of the storm brothers. He lifts his head, golden eyes narrowing, testing the wind. He smells lion, cub, and memory. The cubs freeze. The lionesses form a ring around them in a heartbeat, bodies touching, muscles tight. Sable doesn't move. This is the lion who once answered her pride's roars. The lion who taught her that noise can invite danger. The lion who changed everything. Now he is here, and he is listening. A standoff of silence. Normally, a male lion would roar first, declaring, "This land is mine. These lions belong to me." But this moment is strange. The storm brother is confused. There are lions in front of him, yet there has been no roar, no warning, no announcement at all. The pride silence works like fog. It unsettles him. He paces slowly, powerful shoulders rolling, tail twitching through the long grass. The cubs try not to squeak. Sable steps forward. She does not lower her head in fear. She does not roar in challenge. She simply stands tall, calm, and utterly quiet. For lions, body language is a language of its own. The storm brother reads it carefully. These lionesses are not attacking. They are not running. They are guarding cubs with total confidence. He listens for the answering roar of a resident pride male. Nothing. Only wind. Only birds. Only the endless quiet of this unusual family. A choice that changes everything. The storm brother glances behind him. There is another shape in the heat haze. His coalition partner, the second storm brother, is approaching. Two powerful males together could take this pride if they wished. Sable knows this. The lionesses know this. Still, no one roars. The second male draws closer. The pride holds position. Cubs press their faces into their mother's legs, feeling hearts pounding through fur. Then something unexpected happens. The first storm brother looks away. He turns, slowly, deliberately, as if deciding the silent pride is not a challenge worth chasing. Silence has made them mysterious, not inviting battle, not calling attention, not sounding like rivals. The second male pauses beside him. Both stand listening one last time. Nothing. No roar. No warning. Only the hush of grass and the wind. With a final flick of their tails, the storm brothers walk on. After the danger, a new threat. The lionesses don't relax yet. Silence saved them again, but the encounter leaves a mark. The cubs finally breathe out. One stumbles, exhausted from fear. Sable touches her nose to his cheek. The pride melts back in a shade beneath acacia trees. But quiet moments in the wild never last long. A distant rumble begins. Not from lions. From the sky, dark clouds pile up, thick and heavy. The air turns cool and electric. Birds vanish. Frogs begin to sing all at once, the way they do before storms. The Okavango floodwaters are returning early. Seasonal rivers miles away have already begun pouring in. Soon, the plains will drown, islands will disappear, and every animal will be forced to move. For a pride that survives by staying hidden. Rising water means no hiding places at all. Thunder rolls across the horizon like a giant's drum. The first drops fall. The cubs look up, blinking at the sky as the wind whips the grass flat, and lightning flashes over the wetlands. The land around them is about to change, and this time, silence may not save them. The storm breaks, and the quiet pride must decide. Follow the flood, or be trapped by it. Chasing high ground. The sky opens. Rain crashes down in silver sheets, turning dust into mud in minutes. Wind drives the storm sideways, bending trees and whipping manes flat against necks. Thunder booms across the plains and echoes between distant islands. The cubs press close to their mothers, confused and frightened. Water rises around their paws. In some places it climbs to their bellies. The familiar paths they used only days ago are disappearing beneath swirling brown water. The quiet pride begins to move. They do not run wildly. They do not panic. Lions are used to storms, but this storm is different. This is not just rain. This is the first breath of the great flood that gives the Okavango life each year, and also takes it away. Sable leads. Always, she searches for high ground. The small islands where trees grow and earth stands firm above the flood. These places are lifeboats for animals during the wettest months. But this time, the water is faster than she expected. Channels widen. Safe crossings vanish. Hippos claim deeper pools. Crocodiles glide unseen through new rivers that weren't there yesterday. The pride makes their way single file through reeds as tall as their shoulders. The cubs swim short stretches, paws paddling clumsily, eyes just above the surface. Lionesses flank them carefully, blocking currents and guiding them with gentle nudges. Lightning flashes. For a second, the world turns white. We see the pride, small against the storm, moving through a drowning land, silent shapes in a noisy sky. A brief shelter and a hard decision. They reach a mound of dry ground crowned with a single fig tree. Here, the rain softens to a steady whisper. The cubs collapse into the grass, exhausted. Mothers lick water from their fur and noses. Steam rises from warm bodies meeting cold rain. The storm's roar fades to distant thunder. For a moment, calm returns. But Sable is not resting. From this higher place, she can finally see what the flood is doing. Shimmering water stretches out in all directions, cutting the land into broken pieces. The island they left behind is gone. The paths toward their old territory lie underwater. The quiet pride is now trapped on shrinking ground with the flood still rising. Nearby animals are gathering too. Antelope, warthogs, even a pair of giraffes moving like ghosts through the rain. Everyone is being pushed toward the same safe patches of land. And what gathers together in the wild must also compete. The lionesses listen. Through the patter of rain comes something new. Not thunder, not hyena laughter, not the Storm Brothers' deep voices, but a small sound. A cub's cough. One of the youngest, weakened by the long swim and hunger, is shivering hard. He tries to stand and nearly falls. His mother circles him, worried, nudging gently, trying to warm him with her body. The pride faces a painful choice. Stay here on safe ground to let the cub recover. Or keep moving now, before the water rises further and closes every escape. Sable looks from the cub to the water to the distant line of higher forest barely visible through mist. There's no easy path. There's only the path that gives the cubs a future. She turns away from safety. The choice is made. Into the unknown. Rain thins into a gray curtain as the pride leaves the mound and steps back into the flood. They move toward the distant forest ridge, the highest ground for miles. Reaching it means crossing the widest channel they've ever faced. The water there is dark and slow on top, but powerful underneath. Fish leap. A crocodile tail ripples once and vanishes. The lionesses gather the cubs close. Whiskers twitch. They study the current the way human sailors study the sea. Then Sable steps forward first. Water rises to her chest. She keeps her head high, pushing through with strong, steady strokes. One by one, the lionesses follow, forming a moving ring with the cubs in the middle. The smallest cub, the weak one, struggles most. He slips sideways. A hidden current grabs him. He is suddenly farther from the others than he should be, eyes wide, nose barely above the surface. The nearby lioness turns sharply, fighting the water to reach him. Sable spins too, breaking formation. For a heartbeat, the pride's perfect calm shatters. The cub disappears onto the surface, then pops up again downstream, swept toward deeper water and reeds where crocodiles wait. The rain stops. The world holds its breath. The pride that lives by silence finally breaks it, not with a roar, but with movement faster than fear. Sable lunges into the strongest part of the current, leaving safety behind, swimming after the drifting cub with everything she has. The channel ahead widens into dark, open water. The cub is drifting toward it, and Sable is racing time itself to reach him. The rescue in deep water. Water closes over the cub's ears. He kicks, tiny paws flashing beneath the surface, fighting a current far stronger than he is. The channel pulls him like a moving road, carrying him toward the darkest stretch of water, the place no lion wants to go. Sable surges after him. Her head stays high, but the muscles in her neck and shoulders strain against the flow. Each stroke is deliberate, powerful, and silent. She does not waste energy roaring for help. She saves everything for swimming. Behind her, the pride holds position in the shallower water. One lioness gathers the other cubs close. Another watches the dark channel, searching for the telltale ripples of crocodiles. The drifting cub bobs once, twice, then slips under again. Sable dives. For one heartbeat, she vanishes completely, only circles on the water, showing where she went. Then, with a great push, she rises back up, the cub clamped gently between her jaws, his small body limp but alive. She turns with the current, not against it, using the river's force to angle back toward the pride. It is careful work, not a fight, but a dance with water. The cub squeaks weakly. That tiny sound is worth more than the loudest roar. The lionesses shift to meet her, forming a living chain in the shallows. One steps forward, bracing against the current. Another wedges her body to block the flow. Together, they make a path back to safety. Sable reaches them. The cub is passed into the center of the group, where his mother licks him in quick, rough strokes that bring warmth back into his trembling body. He coughs once, then presses his face deep into her fur. Silence returns, not fearful this time, but full of relief. A new land ahead. The storm clouds break open to blue sky. Sunlight pours over the flooded world, turning every channel into a ribbon of gold. Across the water rises the forest ridge, close now, but still separated from them by the last stretch of deep channel. The rescued cub can stand again, but he is tired. The pride knows what waits there. Higher ground, fresh shade, new prey routes, and other lions that may already claim it. They also know this move will change everything. Leaving their hidden wetlands means entering an open world where their silence may no longer hide them. Dragonflies skim the surface of the water. The flood whispers against reeds. The cub presses against Sable's leg, following her shadow faithfully. The lionesses step forward together, toward the final crossing, toward new land, toward whatever, or whoever, lies waiting in the trees ahead. And as they climb onto a shallow sandbank before the last channel, a deep, distant sound rolls through the air. Not thunder, not wind, a roar, not theirs. Someone is already there. The land of roaring lions. The sound washes over the floodplain like a wave. A lion's roar, powerful, long, and impossible to ignore. The cubs shrink low to the ground. The lionesses lift their heads at once, ears forward, bodies suddenly still. On the distant ridge, birds burst from the trees, startled by the echo. The quiet pride has reached the edge of a world where silence is no longer the rule. Another roar follows, then another, not angry, not yet, but strong and certain, the way a flag flies in open wind. It says, "This place is taken. We are here. We are not afraid to be heard." Sable listens carefully. She can tell a lot from sound alone. These are not the Storm Brothers. These voices are younger, higher, less heavy with age. A new coalition rules this high ground. The pride has two choices: turn back into rising water, or step into a territory filled with lions who announce themselves loudly. The flood behind them makes the choice for them. Sable leads the pride into the final channel. The last crossing. The water is calmer here, but deep. Sunlight glitters on the surface in broken pieces. Fish ripple beneath like moving shadows. The cubs cling to their mother's sides as they swim, tiny heads just above the shining water. No one makes a sound, not even the birds. The closer they get to the ridge, the clearer everything smells. Dry earth, bark, fresh grass, and the unmistakable scent of lions who live unafraid. They climb out on the far bank, water streaming from their coats. The ground here is firm and warm. Trees spread wide branches that throw cool shade. For a moment, the cubs forget danger and roll in the dust with relief. Then a twig snaps. The lionesses freeze. The meeting in the trees. From the shadows beneath a marula tree, a lioness steps forward. Then another. Then another. A resident pride. Their bellies are full. Their coats are sleek. They are at home here, and they are not used to strangers arriving without sound or warning. The two groups stare at one another. Silence stretches like a rope pulled tight between them. Normally, lions would have roared long before reaching this point, announcing themselves from far away to avoid surprises like this. But the quiet pride had come like ghosts. The resident lionesses fan out slowly, curious and cautious. They do not attack. They sniff the air, reading the story carried on scent. Cubs, travel, floodwater, exhaustion, determination. Sable stands at the front of her pride. She does not bow. She does not roar. She simply waits. From deeper in the trees, heavy footsteps approach. Branches sway. Dust lifts. Two young males step into the light. Strong, confident, manes still growing thicker with each season. These are the voices the pride heard. Their eyes lock with Sable's. The test of courage. The air is thick with questions. Will these males see the cubs as threats? Will they chase the pride away? Will silence help or hurt in this new place where roaring rules? One of the males tilts his head, confused again by the lack of sound. He expected calls, growls, or defiant roars. Instead, he finds calm, steady quiet, and lionesses who hold ground without challenge. He circles closer, not aggressive, simply reading the situation like a book made of movement. He passes near the weakest cub. A single lioness slides between them, protective but composed. Still no roar. Still no warning. The younger male stops. He makes a small chuff, a soft greeting sound lions use at close range. It is not a threat. It is not a challenge. It is an invitation to be known. Sable answers with the same low sound. Just a breath. Just a rumble. Not a roar. The tension loosens slightly, like a tightened rope given slack. The resident lionesses lower their heads and begin to move again, not toward battle, but toward stillness, lying back beneath trees, watching but not hostile. A new kind of silence. The quiet pride has done something rare. They have entered another lion's land. Without roaring, without running, without fighting, only with calm and patience. The males settle a short distance away, keeping their eyes on the newcomers. This is not acceptance yet, but it is not rejection either. It is a fragile, balanced piece that could tip either way. The cubs sink into shade, exhausted from water and fear. Their mothers groom them slowly, tongues smoothing wet fur into order again. Sunlight warms their backs. For the first time, the flood feels far away. But this new land brings new rules. These lions are loud. They call it sunset. They sing their strength across valleys and woodlands. And night is coming. When darkness falls, The young males will roar again to claim their world. The question is, will the quiet pride stay silent? Or will they finally answer back? As the sun dips and the sky turns orange and purple, the first star appears above the ridge. A breeze carries the scent of many lions, many stories. Sable lifts her head. She listens, and somewhere deep in her chest, something moves like a memory of the voice she once used. The light fades, the land waits, and the night prepares for a sound that may, or may not, finally break the silence. When the night calls, the last light drains from the sky. The ridge glows for a moment, then slips into shadow. Crickets start their steady music. Fireflies blink over the grasses like tiny floating stars. In the darkness, the world feels bigger, edges softer, distances longer. And then it comes. A roar. Deep, rolling, confident.